So we have talked yesterday about our transmission being the last one for the year, and it doesn't look like it is.
Yeah.
The State Department have released the first details regarding the pilot program to resume this H-1B visa stamping
Yeah. In the
for,
U.S. Yes. Yeah.
and they've used the term for certain qualified non-citizen.
Yeah.
So this is not for everybody. And um, as the State Department now is using the terminology pilot program, obviously this is the first attempt to jumpstart what they were doing back. And I was trying to remember how many years ago.
2004, I think they
And
said
I
they
said
stopped.
15 years ago when we were talking, it looks like that's about right.
Yeah.
Back in 2004, they basically gave up on it and closed it down. So we got something now that we can share with everybody
Yeah.
and detail it. So I think the very first question, Brian, we want to answer for everybody is who is qualified for this H-1B pilot program to stamp visas within the United States? Who is qualified to do this?
Well, we have sort of what it says in the Department of State. Shall we put it on the screen and talk about it?
Sounds like a good idea.
Okay. There it is, and there we are down here. So, first of all, number one on the list, the very first thing they say is, and there's more to talk about on all these issues, but H-1B visas only, and they're only going to be H-1B visa renewals. No first-time H-1B visa applicants getting their visas this way.
Which is no surprise.
Yeah, kind of what we
We
expected.
we expected that they're not going to embark on stamping a brand new visa that has not been looked at by the consulate. And that's, by the way, from my recollection, consistent with the 2004 program as I remember it.
Yeah. So
Okay.
next, as we said, it has to be a renewal, and the next thing on the list is your last H-1B visa must have been issued in certain countries in very specific windows. Particularly, must have been issued in Canada from January 1st, 2020 to April 1st, 2023, or in India from February 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2021. So a relatively narrow window of issuance for your last visa. I mean, realistically, especially for both of these windows, your visa, if you got a 3-year visa, it probably isn't even expired yet for much of these, windows. But there are certainly some people for whom this will be useful. So, there you go.
So this is an incredibly a surprise because this is an incredibly narrow window
Yeah,
of applicability. I mean, I cannot emphasize enough how narrow this window is in terms of who is qualified. I mean, with regard to uh, cases issued or stamps issued in Canada, December 2023, assuming that 95% of these stamps were issued for 3 years.
yeah,
So you're looking at really, if they're expired today, so you're looking at cases maybe have been issued between January of 2020 and December of 21 year only,
yeah,
practically.
yeah,
So it's a
yeah,
1 year window.
yeah.
And then with India, it's a 7 months window
Yeah,
uh,
I got to check
or
check my
eight
notes
months
here. I,
window.
I figure that has to be maybe. I mean, I put this together relatively at relative speed. That might be a typo there
No,
because
no, no. I don't
it's
think you
not.
made a typo. I don't think you made a typo because it is. You're thinking you made a typo because it is.
Is ridiculous. No, you're right. I'm looking at
Yeah,
looking at the
yeah.
original document from the Department of State. Those 1
No.
2020 to 1 2023 2 1 2021 to 9.
Yes.
Wow, I typed that in there. I translated it into this presentation, and that is such a narrow window for India.
Yeah. It's virtually a elected uh, qualified applicant. So, but remember, I mean,
Hasn't
this
it?
is
Well, just another thought on that, Sam. February 21 to September 21. Who was getting stamping during that time? That's like practically peak COVID. You know?
right. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a very narrow window. And remember, I mean, they can roll another group by the conclusion of this pilot program.
Sure.
Now the pilot program window, this program has a very narrow window, and you may have that on your notes.
I do. I'm gonna
Uh,
put us back on the screen here, and like
yeah,
the days when you can actually apply for it.
yeah, January 29th to April 1st, 24. So basically
Yeah.
February. Yeah, Jan 20. Thank you.
Yeah, they have these are the specific dates the slots will open on: January 29th, February 5th, February 12th, February 19th, February 26th.
And that's
So
it. Yeah.
yeah, and that's it. Basically, they say, well, if you don't get it in the first one, in the one in the your first try, you can come back for one of the second rounds if you don't get selected. One of the interesting things I noted, Sam, is they basically say every application received will be counted towards an approximate 2,000 maximum weekly limit for each participating mission. Meaning, if demand is low for one, it's each mission gets 2,000 per week. So India 2,000, Canada 2,000. I could see that as being kind of a headache, but at least I guess upsetting to me, because if the demand is low for one, it's not like those visas seem to shift over to the other one per what they're saying here. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
And so for a maximum of 4,000, but looks
Yeah.
like we may not hit the 4,000
Well,
maximum
especially because
potentially.
those tiny windows as well. Yeah.
So 4,000 times six, right? Six windows, right? Go back on that.
No, five windows, 4,000 times per
Yeah,
20,000. So
for
it is.
20,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Maximum 20,000.
that's your 20,000
Yeah.
cases that they're going to be looking at.
Yeah.
Okay. So who's qualified? We've talked about the
Continuing.
window.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've talked about the two missions,
Yeah.
one in Canada, one in India, and it has to be restricted for H-1B holders, stamp
Only. Yeah.
holders
Only. Yes.
only.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Excellent. How to do this, Brian?
Yeah.
How to file the H-1B request for stamping?
Well, there's a website. They've created the new website, a new place, and I'm going to put a link to it on the screen. And also you will find the link to this in the comments, not the comments, the information about this YouTube video. So if you're interested, take a click. However, I've been to that website. It is just a placeholder at this point. It is basically saying, hey, we've announced the program. More details will appear here. But if you want to get involved, take a crack at getting stamping pursuant to this program, you are going to want to bookmark that link, because that is what you're going to need.
So, in answering how to do it, the first thing you need to do is go to that link
Yeah,
and click on that link.
yeah.
That's the
So,
first thing.
yeah,
Well, I guess the first thing before you even go there, make sure that you are one of the eligible
yeah,
candidate. And I believe that the once that website is live, they're going to go through a questionnaire to determine your eligibility.
yeah. Because
Uh,
I'm going to put the requirements we have up here, because you
yep,
talked about the highest level ones, but I mean
yep,
they have some more on the list, which I think it sounds exactly like what you said. A questionnaire will be asked about these.
yep. Go ahead.
There's some things on here like not being subject to reciprocity fee or eligible for a waiver, meaning your visa expired in the last 48 months. But the things like do you have an approved or unexpired H-1B petition? Were you most recently admitted to the United States on H-1B status? I mean, Sam, that answers a great question for me. What if I'm here on advanced parole right now? I last entered on advanced parole, and I'm trying to get a visa. I'm trying to get back on H-1B status. This will not help, because you have to most recently entered on H-1B status. So these are the sort of things I expect in a questionnaire.
Yes.
Are you currently maintaining H-1B status? Is one of the requirements, and this is one of the things we were talking about when we talked about this initially.
Right.
It's hey, if I've used my adjustment EAD, for example, does that mean I'm maintaining H-1B status? And does the Department of State have the means to figure that out? Is also a very interesting question as well.
Yes.
You know.
Also, somebody who must have submitted his fingerprint.
Yeah. So, well, yeah. Part of the request. So, yeah. If by chance they didn't 10 print you, when you did your last visa application, that could be something that is impactful
Qualified.
as well. Yeah. Um,
Um, okay, sounds good. So, continuing on how to do it,
yeah.
make sure you're qualified. Go to that link and go through the questionnaire that they're going to give you to make sure that you are qualified as they see things.
Yeah.
And then you complete a DS 160 form, looks
Sure.
like.
The visa application form, the
Um,
classic online visa application form. So pretty
yes,
standard.
yes.
Uh, yeah.
And there is a fee of
Yes.
$205.
Yep, the standard, visa fee, as I recall. So
Yeah.
pretty normal there.
Yeah.
The
And then
documents, yeah,
and
go
then
ahead.
the system shifts from electronic to mail,
Yes,
as USCIS always does. I mean, they think this is really smart. But I guess I'm limiting my commentary here. So once you do this and you pay and you file, then you have to provide information by mail
yes,
to an address with to
yeah.
the State Department.
Yeah, I've got the requirements up here, what they expect in terms of documents. So the DS-160 completed online, I expect they're going to have you send, like, the DS-160 confirmation barcode page, you know, and then all these other documents with it: one passport style photo,
Original
uh,
passport.
original passport, your copy of your I-797, your approval notice for your H-1B, of course, and a copy, original or a copy of your I-94. I-94, and that's an interesting one. They want the original. Again, I'm checking my notes, and I know it says this. They say an original or a copy, excuse me, of the H-1B approval notice. So that's good. Not having to
Well,
have
there's
the.
no such thing as of an original of an I-94.
Oh yeah, this is very
It,
well.
that
Yeah, if you,
it doesn't
yeah,
exist. I
yeah,
mean,
not anymore, really.
especially for those who were approved between February 2021 and September 2021 from India,
Yes, they've been
or
on
Gen.
electronic I-94 since what, 2014?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
okay. So they probably need just a print a copy and
Well, yeah.
attach
Well,
it.
they say original or copy of
Yeah,
these things. So either way,
yeah.
there's some flexibility there. That's for sure.
You have to be maintaining your H-1B status.
Yeah,
Obviously, you said that. Um, um, and intend to re-enter the United States on H-1B.
sure. I guess they don't want you
Yeah,
getting those if you're not really intending to use it. Of course, all these
yes,
things to be covered in
yeah.
in a questionnaire is the most likely. So what it's going to look like? You go to that website. You'll probably be asked some screener questions. If you answer the right way for the screener questions, you will be invited to to go through the process essentially.
Yeah.
And no
Uh,
guarantees, I guess, is something. Just because you get your application in there, they say several times in this policy, about probably 6 or 7 times in this policy, um, if you apply and we reject your application, we're keeping your filing fees. We're keeping
yeah.
your fees. It's a refusal of a visa like any other one, and
Yes.
you can apply again in the future through the consulate, for
And
example.
if you file and you're not qualified, they're keeping your money.
Yeah, yeah,
They said that clearly that they're taking your $205 and sending your passport back.
yeah, yeah,
And then they're saying that they have key goals and desired outcome of their very limited pilot program. The one of them is to test the operational and technical capability to resume targeted domestic visa renewals. So
yeah.
it's a pilot program, and the key is to make sure that they have the technical capability.
Sure.
And obviously, if they don't have it, they need to upgrade it, whatever.
Yeah,
Obviously, their other goal is to reduce visa interview backlog and high volume wait time at overseas consular posts. That's one of the things that they've mentioned as their goal. Improve overall visa service delivery um, um, for the customer, um, and then and understand and inform potential future expansion to more visa classifications, which is
yeah,
basically beyond the H-1B program and obviously beyond this very limited number of people.
yeah,
And then finally, align with their administrative priorities in rebuilding trust in government, and supporting immigration pathways.
yeah.
So that's basically what they say their goal in that pilot program: test their technical capability, reduce visa backlog, improve visa delivery, and expand this to other classifications.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and they talk about prior challenges that they've had and limitations. They said, they had problem with biometric requirements before, and now they are thinking
Oh yeah.
that
They say that's one of the reasons why you have to have somebody who's 10 printed, because we don't have the means to do that inside the United States, which is
yeah,
funny because I know another agency that has literally biometrics offices all around the country that is also handles immigration matters, but it's the classic U.S. government. One agency involved in immigration has no clue how to work with the other one on
Yeah,
immigration. Yeah,
yeah. So I mean, that's basically what we got here. So here you have it. That's the H-1B pilot program to resume stamping in the United States. The first rollout is very limited in scope, as we expected, but they believe that they can deliver 40,000 stamping in this very limited window
yeah. A window.
within very limited time.
Yeah, they say they hope to have everything completed. I believe it's by May
Yeah.
1st. The entire pilot program closed out, and basically, your visas should take 6 to 8 weeks to actually for them to cough them up. So
And there's no expedited processing.
yeah,
So if you have any need for something quicker than that, don't even bother them.
yeah,
And like I said, out of scope cases will be returned without a refund.
yeah,
Refused cases can apply overseas. So
yeah.
if you have a case refused, you can go ahead and apply overseas. So that's what we got, Brian. Anything else that we need to share with our listeners today?
No, no. I think clearly there will be more to learn. I'm gonna keep on watching that link because sooner or later I expect to see that questionnaire to become available, for example. And no matter what, I don't expect that website to work very well come January 29th when the time comes because
It's
think
brand
they'll
new.
just
It's a brand new sub
yeah,
like everything else, right?
yeah, yeah,
Hopefully, it will work well and make it easy for our people. So, thank you guys for listening to us. Hopefully, this is helpful, and I guess we'll see you next year.
yeah.